All right, so with the special treat of Kongzilla out of the way, we're gonna get into the Mandalorian spoiler review now. So first, off the top, guys, what did you think about? I'm gonna jump right into it. What did you think about Boba Fett and his old return here, and us actually seeing him in action, pretty much for the first time ever?
I thought it was
I'll argue.
badass.
Yeah,
It was definitely gave him. It lived up to like the hype that you've always heard about Boba Fett being badass. Now you finally got to like see it.
I
Great
agree.
description. Yeah.
I 100% agree. 'Cause I told Rick when we were streaming the other night, like, as someone who has always said Boba Fett is not a good character because he did nothing, right? Like, he just looked cool. I don't need to keep getting into it, but he's this character. Everybody liked him. I totally get why, because he looks cool. But like, ever since the original trilogy, we've had so many Mandalorians introduced, and we actually got to see them do like really cool stuff. I don't know,
Kind of broke the hype for.
yeah. But now that we actually got to see him in action, he's cool. Like, I'm not gonna say he's the coolest Mandalorian ever, but it was good.
He kicked some ass.
They did him justice.
Yeah.
They did him justice, you know. So, what did you think
I
about him?
was, yeah, I thought he was very cool. My one fear was, I mean, last night's episode could have just been an episode of the Boba Fett show. I mean, as much screen time, as much of the heavy lifting as he got to do. I mean, Mando was knocked out for I felt like part of the episode, and they focused a lot on Boba Fett. So I hope I'm jumping way ahead into big spoilers, but I hope going forward that the show's focus stays on Mando and the child, and Boba Fett's involvement, while significant, doesn't take over the show.
I think it'll obviously. I mean, the way it ends now that not Mando, but Boba's going to be helping Mando.
Hopefully.
I think it'll probably end. I don't know. I think he'll be by his side, but they'll part ways afterward. Like, it'll wrap everything up. The thing that I find kind of interesting, actually, I didn't really think about before, but they took Baby Yoda. They got Grogu,
Yeah.
and like they're going to go get him back now. And if they get him back, presumably, like, that's it. That would wrap up that story. They're just gonna keep drawing it out, like, now they're back after him, and like, you know what I mean?
Maybe they end up being really good buds. I don't know.
What?
Maybe they end up being like really good buds.
Who?
Boba Fett and Mando.
Boba, yeah.
Oh, maybe, but I mean, just like with Mando, like the story of the season, like these first 2 seasons have been about like keeping Grogu safe from the Empire, and like they might be like they've just put themselves in the position to like pretty much wrap that up, which I find to be
I mean, that's going to be a pretty difficult task, I feel like, though, at the same time. So,
is it though?
I guess.
I mean, the Empire gets beat every single time.
It's true.
They haven't won. Like,
never thought about it that way. They
Yeah,
got a pretty bad losing record.
this is true. I'll tell you what, I want to say there's a couple things that, like, they obviously like showed Boba Fett wrecking shop with his gaffy stick, which was good stuff. But there were some things I'm gonna go through a list of things that I had problems with. And
Before you jump into that, I had a biggest smile on my face during that scene that you got up on screen there after, because he says right before they jump to that, he says, "We're gonna have to go the rest of the way with the windows down." And I thought, what in the world
windows
is
go
he
down?
talking about? Like, well, yeah, I was like, obviously they don't go down, but what is that? Some sort of landing terminology I'm just not familiar with? And then I realized the next thing it's because of all the wind in their hair and stuff. What a great line! That very impressed by that line in that next scene.
Oh yeah, and to your point too about it being the Boba Fett show, I wouldn't be surprised that like this episode was directed by Robert Rodriguez. And I wouldn't be surprised if Robert Rodriguez, if they do make the Boba Fett spinoff, if Robert just directs like that whole series, just based on like, I don't know, everything we saw.
Yeah,
like I'd be on board with it if like that's what we get out of a whole series of Boba Fett with Robert Rodriguez at the helm.
yeah,
That'd be good. Like, I'm looking for that. Like,
you could look back, and this could almost be like a backdoor pilot into his Boba Fett series.
Yeah,
for sure.
But anyway, let's get into. I'm going to go through this one. When they get here and they do the thing, right, and then so Baby Yoda starts doing the thing.
Doing the thing.
His little thing. He's like, I don't even. his force,
Meditation.
Yeah, it's like a
Dude, he
force
had the
phone call.
whole.
Yeah,
He was
it,
so chill. Like,
yeah, it wasn't just like making a force call. Like, dude was like generating a force field,
Yeah,
literally.
quite literally.
Like, so we got to see some some pretty intense force powers. I mean, it's the most intense force power we've seen on the show.
Yeah.
Like, really. And honestly, too, like, this is one thing that I always kind of wish Star Wars would do was like, because back in the day, and like, it was understandable, like back in the original trilogy, due to like special effects limitations and everything. But ever since The Force Unleashed came out, if you remember those video games,
Yeah.
I was always kind of hoping,
Good games.
yeah, they're fun. In those games, when you use the Force power, like you saw it and like you felt the impact. Like when Starkiller did a Force push, like it distorted the wavelengths around like you, which is just like boom, you can feel the impact of it. And obviously back like in the original trilogy and everything, there were limitations there, so they just made it a force in the kind of cop out for not having anything was saying that it was like an invisible force field around us all and blah 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 blah. But I was always hoping that when special effects got like better, like now times, that they actually gave some like show it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, at least
give it some, make it look more intense.
Yeah, like if someone does a force push, like all the games do it. Literally, even the Old Republic did it. Especially if you watch like the cinematic trailers for it, like when the Jedi girl with the double bladed lightsaber does the force push to Malgus against the freaking rock, like it's up, you see it. And I always just wish they would do that. You know what I mean? Like just make it happen. Like it's just cooler. And like they started doing it, like obviously with this, like if this was in the original trilogy, you wouldn't see this. It'd be invisible.
Yeah, he'd just be quietly sitting there.
And it kind of loses its impact. Like I feel like this is just like a lot better. So I really hope they start doing this shit forward. I mean, I like the idea and I like when this is like invisible, but at the same time, I don't know. I'd like a little bit of wave distortion. Anyway, while this is all going on, our boy Boba Fett ends up showing up here, right? So he's sitting here, he's still doing his thing. I got this because I like his little fingers, man. He's still like the cutest little thing in the world, dude.
He's adorable.
So good. So our boy Boba Fett shows up here and he has him. This is one thing I took issue with. Stupid thing, but I gotta get into it. He's like, take the jetpack down and we'll take the gun down or whatever. And like blah blah blah. So then like the fighting ensues and all this stuff goes on. And the stormtroopers show up. And like so the jetpack's there on the ground. And then Mando decides to just run up the hill. Up to Baby Yoda. Just leaves his jetpack there. And it's like it would have taken you like 5 minutes to run up the hill. It would have taken you all of 3 seconds to put the jetpack on and fly up the hill. So it's like he conveniently leaves the jetpack just so the dark troopers can fly away with him without him fighting.
Yeah, exactly.
I hate that kind of stupid convenience shit.
It really was like perfectly convenient.
They literally had to write that in, this scene in, like you put the jetpack down. Like it's just written in just to serve a supply at the end of it for literally no fucking reason. Like, sorry, but it was annoying because like literally the jetpack is right here. And he's like, no, I'm just gonna run up the mountain.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of idiot would do that? You know what I mean? It's a little bit out of character because it's like it's stupid. So then, on top of that stupidity, he had to conveniently leave the door to his ship open so Boba Fett could just walk in and get his armor.
They don't mention anything else after that.
Like, literally, they show the ship and the door's just open. He wouldn't do that. He's got his shit robbed multiple times at this point. He's not just leaving the door to his ship open.
True, but he thought they were just, it's like,
he wouldn't have done it.
It's like when you're running the convenience store and you're just going to pop in and buy a pack of gum or something. Like
you leave your door open.
You might not lock your door. You might not,
But he left it open.
I don't mind running sometimes.
It could be unlocked and closed. This is like you jumped out of your car with the door wide open and ran into the gas station. That's what he did. And he wasn't just inside. He was up a mountain.
What time of day is it?
Yeah, is it a good town?
It's stupid convenient so he could just walk in and get his armor back. There's no way around it. There's no way around it. Then when they're up there perched, the stormtroopers do show up and they're up there perched on the hill. They all come out of the cargo door and it's a kill. None of them should have survived, dude. It's a kill box. You know,
Yep.
like
Like
they're at a choke point, and our dudes have the high ground.
They
This
have
is
the high
Star
ground.
Wars. Like
You got the high ground, you won.
you win if you have the high ground, and there's just no way. All of those stormtroopers would have died if this was a real life scenario. In any scenario, even a video game, you win that fight.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
all of the people coming out of that doorway are dead. That's how it works. So I thought that was stupid. And these are just obviously nitpicks. I just didn't like the direction with it.
Yeah. And it's odd too because some of these things are some of these are easy fixes. So you wonder like what the thinking is going into. Like somebody watch this and go, are they honestly
That's
just
what
not
it is.
picking up? Are they honestly just do they not care? Are they just not picking up on in production? Like do they feel like the visual of them running out the door is necessary to that scene? Because you just turn the ship the other way. You have them come out the backside of the ship and
I mean, yeah, dude, that's all they needed to do.
Yeah.
Or-
Use the ship for
and-
cover.
And as far as like Mando and the jetpack and Boba Fett, you know these episodes are not full hour long episodes anyway. We've talked about how sometimes they're on the shorter side, and this one felt kind of middle
did
of the
feel
road.
short.
It wasn't real short, but it also wasn't one of the
I
long.
think it was like 31 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, they could have added an extra scene or two where for maybe whatever reason, it's Ming. I can't remember the actress's name.
Ming Na.
Ming Na, whatever her character, she could have been, Boba could have said to Mando, "Look, we're going to go get my armor. She's going to stay here with the kid," and that gives them an excuse to get the armor. Maybe something he tells Boba, "Look, I don't, until I have all the armor or everything I need for the armor, maybe Boba can lock the armor's, abilities somehow because he has control of it or something. Like until everything's square between them, maybe Mando has to leave his jetpack on. I just feel like there's something they could have done. You're right, to make it so not so much of what a dumb move by Mando. Make him look like an idiot.
Oh, yeah. They could have even just had it to where the ship started firing at their position, so he didn't have time to grab it and just ran uphill.
Sure. Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Another good point. Yeah.
Like, I mean, something other than, you know what? I'm just gonna hoof it up the mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like he wouldn't do that. Like he definitely just wouldn't do it. And then the next one just it was more just kind of a funny thought more so than anything. But he needs to get this breastplate resized.
Yeah. Maybe it's the robe underneath, but yeah.
He grew without getting the armor resized. You remember Game of Thrones when Robert needed the breastplate stretcher? Like that's the same concept here, man. Like
Yeah.
you don't need to get that resized. Make a
Look,
visit to the armorer.
Look, the older you get, your metabolism slows down a little bit. Things don't
He
kind
looks
of. It's a little tougher to maintain the
man,
figure of.
looks better than Cobb Vanth. He looked awkward as hell with you.
Well, he was just too tall for it.
Yeah, he
Like,
just
was
looked
too tall and
awkward. Like,
lanky.
that
He's just a
works.
little too
Thick.
a little round. He's been drinking too much blue milk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too much spotchka.
Too much of those blue milk cookies. Those blue milk
Yeah.
macaroons.
He's
and
got,
whatever.
Boba's got a sweet tooth.
Too much of those. And then another thing, when he went and got the armor, when and why would Mando have restocked the missile in Boba's jetpack?
All right,
Yeah,
so
'cause
I
Cobb
actually-
Vanth
Another
used it.
convenient thing
I
for
actually,
him to
I
use
actually
it.
got you. I got you on this one. All right, so I'm gonna go out on a limb here. We've seen
Hit me.
Mando's. We've seen. Oh God, I can't remember the name of the ship.
Razor Crest?
Razor Crest. Thank you. We've seen the Razor Crest has an armory on it, a pretty
does.
substantial armory. So
It was
my
robbed.
thinking is like Boba has that missile available, and Boba's kind of the always be prepared type individual. Like he's prepared for a
Maybe
lot
he
of different
brought one with him.
scenarios. So,
Oh, so you
Yeah,
think
so he-
Boba had one on his ship?
exactly. So I think his
Okay.
armory comes stocked with a missile, and so at least one, maybe probably multiples, and they're probably Mandalorian armor is probably hot swap. You can switch parts in and out. So he probably had a missile that worked in it because it's Mandalorian.
This
armor
is a
based.
crude armor, though, man. This was his dad's, man, back in the Clone Wars.
Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah.
dated at this point.
Yeah.
So that might be a pretty like.
His visors hold up well, though.
Yeah, they do. I mean, the rest of the armor didn't. All right. Well, the paint job at least. But
Yeah.
I'll buy that one. I'll give you that one. No, I will give it. I'll give you that one.
Okay, I appreciate
Because like
that.
I'm left to assume like he just shows up with the missile in the jetpack. So I'm
Sure.
like they never show him go to his ship and like yeah that's plausible. So I'll buy it.
Yeah.
I'll accept that as an answer. And then the other one was when the dark troopers actually come down, right? They are like flying out of that ship like a bat out of hell, dude. They are quick.
They are
Then they land and they turn into C-3PO.
like slower.
Yeah.
C-3PO could walk circles around those.
Yeah,
dudes.
I'm like,
and they're all synchronized. It looks like they're doing a dance together or something.
Yeah, what was that about? And then also like, why does the Empire have to be so like edgy, like dark troopers, death troopers, like
red eyes?
Yeah, it's just like, ugh. I don't know. That was just the walking thing was annoying though, because then they're like walking super duper slow. Like honestly, Mando would have had enough time to run up the hill without his jetpack and still be fine. Because like, goddamn, they move so slow. But then again, they just launch off the ground at fucking light speed again. And it's like, how are you walking so slow if you
Really?
literally fly that fast? It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Then, as that's happening, Boba gets into the Slave One and flies up there and gets literally like could throw a rock at the Imperial cruiser. Like, why did the Imperial cruiser let that thing get anywhere
the
near
cloaking abilities of the Slave One?
But like I said, man, they could just look out the window and see it.
But a cloaking
It's right
ability,
there.
you wouldn't see it with the cloaking ability. Like, I think there's literally, he's got some sort of defense on there that basically renders his ship invisible.
It couldn't be like something like making it invisible to the naked eye because they would have showed us the viewer that.
But
yeah.
They would have made it go
the ship
invisible.
the ship was coming from underneath. So let's I mean, you could kind of maybe guess that they don't have whatever the word, they don't have windows on the bottom of their Imperial ship. They've got windows on the bridge, but
Well, they
that's
have
kind of
proximity detection though.
well, and that's where the cloaking would come in. So like if it's got radar cloaking or something like that, maybe there's a scenario where they don't know he's coming at them or he's tracking with them up to the bottom of the ship.
Well,
True.
my other caveat with that is like I can let that's a loose one. That's a loose one.
Okay.
But he didn't shoot a tracking beacon at it. He was that close to it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's more the big one. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
how'd they let
we
him get
know
that
of.
close?
That
Yeah,
we know
but-
of. That could be the Deus Ex
That's some
Machina.
information you tell Mando at the end, like, don't worry, my dude. I put a tracker on him. We're gonna go
Sure.
get the kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
like
Sure.
we're gonna help you get him because we owe you one, even though I stole the armor from your ship before it got blown up. You didn't actually give it to me.
And then he
So I
doesn't
don't
mention
actually
anything
do
else
anything.
about that after.
Yeah, that's
Not
right.
like, dude, that's my armor. Like, you know,
Right. Like,
he's just like, oh, he's wearing it now. Okay.
and so that was pretty much it. Other than the fact that, yeah, the whole Mando never made that deal.
No.
Well, the deal was never made. He just
That
went
we
and
saw.
took it.
There was yeah.
No, because at the end he has still had to justify. Like he pulled up the little ancestral chart there and was like, "Look, see, this is my dad." Like, and then he's like, "Oh, okay, now you're good."
The armor does belong to
Yeah.
you, yeah.
Yeah. So like he didn't know. Like he didn't give it to him. He just went and so he didn't owe him shit. Like
Yeah.
he doesn't have to stay there and help get that kid back at all, technically speaking. But then
Broba Fett. He's being a bro.
he is being a Boba Fett. That's fine. But like obviously we were going to get that. The team up was going to happen regardless. So I mean that's fine. I'm totally fine with that. These are just the classic. These are the things I hate most about movies. Like when you have these just stupid, convenient things that just are only there for movie plot reasons. You know, so it's like things that you would never ever do or come across in real life, but have to happen because you wrote the script and we don't have time to make changes or we're just too lazy to do it.
Yeah.
Like one of the
Yeah.
two. And then in the end though, with old Moff Gideon and Grogu, and he shows him the darksaber. You think Grogu had a or a lightsaber? Because like Grogu like knew what was up and like reached for it.
It's
so
possible.
I was wondering if like maybe Moff Gideon like because they had him before, So I'm wondering if maybe they actually have his lightsaber, and at the end, we're gonna see little Grogu whoop some ass with a little
Like Yoda and
yeah,
what?
exactly.
Attack of the
Like
Clones?
jump around all fucking crazy, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe,
We'll see.
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. He seemed to know what was up with the lightsaber. You know, he
He
reached
did.
for it.
He did.
So I don't know.
We'll just have to
So
see
I
how it
asked Rick
goes.
the same thing. What color do you think his lightsaber would be if he had one?
Orange.
Orange?
I think
Yeah,
that's what
I'm
I
gonna
said.
go orange.
I
think
just
it's
assumed that they would go classic green because of Yoda, but
yeah.
I hope not. They separated a little bit, but that's just kind of what I assumed. I could also see though, because he was a Padawan, it would probably be blue
Yeah.
Yeah.
if we're gonna go by that. But they also too, I guess one little
Was
fun note is
was
that they
he
technically broke canon or they retconned Django because I guess for the longest time Django was never actually supposed to be a Mandalorian, and now they like officially made him a foundling.
foundling? Yeah. Do we think Grogu was a Padawan, or do we think he was just a youngling that was just being trained? Because
I think
isn't
it
there
was
a
just a
difference?
youngling.
There is a difference. The youngling is they're just not of age yet to be a Padawan in
Sure.
training. So
Yeah.
yeah, they could have been.
I
Did
mean,
they say
he can't even
explicitly if
speak
he
yet.
was a group? Did Ahsoka say? I can't remember.
I think
Because I
she
think
just
she
said he
said
was.
either
I think
one
she
of the
just said
two.
he was there being on Coruscant being trained.
I don't
Yeah, it
remember
was
if she said
very.
trained with younglings or with.
I don't think she said that.
Padawans. I don't know what she
I
I don't
think
think
she
she
just said he was
specified.
training there.
just trained in Jedi.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would assume younglings, but it's so hard to say because he's like 50 fucking years old. Like I don't know what that means because he's obviously super strong with the Force. So like you would imagine that like he wouldn't just be sitting there with all like broom kid level sensitive people, you know? Like this
Sure.
dude created a force field that was blowing people back, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's obvious that species has a very strong attunement with the Force.
Yeah.
Um,
So you got to
it,
think Yoda had some involvement in his training.
did you guys do you guys get a vibe that they're really playing up the baby Yoda being torn between the dark and the light side, that he's not, he's
I don't
definitely
think so.
poised. He definitely really.
I
I felt
don't
like
get that.
I felt like the whole scene with him toying with the stormtroopers and
Oh no, yeah, I know what you're saying.
force choking them was a tad over what you would expect from
Yeah,
a full light side user to be doing. Now the full
Yeah,
light side
I
user would
agree.
have knocked him out, but baby Yoda being younger, it's like a young kid with, when they're learning to express their physicality, they'll hit or punch sometimes. It's not necessarily that they're doing it because of they're hostile or they're doing it. It's just they're exploring the different aspects of how to their physicality, and the same goes with baby. He's going to explore some of the darker side ideas of the Force. I think that I don't know. It was just
Luke's
interesting to
our
me.
boy Luke Skywalker force chokes and fools. All right, just saying.
Yeah.
He did in Jedi. Yeah. He
Oh,
force
you're
choked
right. You're right. He did.
the gore. What are pig dudes? Whatever their name are.
Gamorrean guard.
Yeah.
You're right.
Gamorrean.
Gamorrean.
Wow.
Get out of here.
Good
Yeah.
pull. Wow.
Squealed like a pig.
They did. But yeah, like I think they were. I almost feel like they only added that in there just because of what Ahsoka was saying. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like I don't
Okay.
think that they're actually like gonna have that happen.
Nah.
Like not go like dark side, but I don't think that's actually gonna be like. I think it's more in line with like what you were kind of getting at, to where he's just a kid in a lot of ways,
Yeah.
and just he was put in the room, you know, he's felt like he was being attacked, so he's just doing whatever he possibly could think of doing. Granted, it was kind of going pretty far with it. He was throwing him around the room repeatedly
Yeah.
and then ending with a force choke, as opposed to just leading with a force choke like Luke did.
Sure.
You know, Luke just is like, goodbye. You know, like
Yeah.
he's like, I'm gonna throw you around the room, then I'm gonna choke you.
Yeah.
Which is much more, it's a little bit more sadistic, but at the same time, he is just a kid, so I don't know. But I just don't see little dude being like, you see him putting on a Sith robe or something.
No, not at all.
Like, I think he'd get the Beskar armor before he gets a Sith robe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, who's to say though? It'd be interesting to see though. Because you imagine having like a 10 season story go on to where like Grogu's the bad guy at the end. You know what I mean? That honestly, that'd be pretty
I
cool.
don't see that.
Dude, that'd be pretty cool. It happened with Anakin.
Yeah.
It's just we saw it in a non-linear order, but that's exactly what happened with Anakin.
Yeah, it's true.
That's why Ahsoka said it. So, but I don't know. In the end, I think it was just kind of thrown in there to kind of more service that, like what Ahsoka was kind of getting at, you know. I mean, who knows? Because like I said too, since they're at where they're at now, like I feel like they're in a position where they could wrap up this whole thing, like the dark saber, all that stuff. Like, because otherwise, that's kind of where we can like leave this off. Is like, where do you think this is going to be going now? Because we only have 2 episodes left, right? 7 and 8.
How many more seasons?
Well, the thing is, though, are they going to keep doing the song and dance, like rinse, repeat? Oh, Moff Gideon's after him again. Like, you know what I mean? Is this Scooby Doo? Is this, you know, what is it? Like, because you think they'd have to kind of wrap this stuff up in some way. And it seems like if they already got him, like, I figured they'd draw it out even longer than, like, oh, nope, they got him. Like, I figured we'd learn more about Grogu, like, then it would happen later, like middle of next season or end of next season. And because it's so short, you know what I mean? You gotta think these are only half-hour episodes, 8 episodes, only 4 hours worth of content. Normal show would be like 10, 13, 20 episodes of hour-long stuff. So like this has all happened very quick. You know what I mean? That's why I just didn't expect it to like get to this point already.
Yeah, seriously.
Well, I could see them wrapping up the Moff Gideon aspect of this show this season, possibly still. But you got to figure there's something going on with Grogu and that rock, and he made contact with something, whether or not it's another Jedi, whether or not it's. So I think that is very much an establishing segment for what's coming in season, 3 and maybe the future of the show. So I don't think, I mean, we could see. I think we were all led to believe that it was Order 66, right? That wiped out the Jedi. I think we were all led to believe that Obi-Wan and Yoda were the only 2 that survived, but clearly with Ahsoka still out there, even though she doesn't identify with the Jedi, I think it's entirely plausible with the thousands of Jedi that were out there. There are a handful that maybe don't practice.
That's
or
what I would
don't-
think.
And so I think we might see some of them come back into the show, and that opens up some other doors for how to progress the show, where they're going to go with it.
What if a Sith Lord heard the call?
Also possible.
Yeah, I guess
Well,
so.
but at the time we're talking about the Sith. I mean, if the Sith are truly following the rule of 2, you've got Anakin and Palpatine, right? Is my time frame right there?
No, this is after Anakin's dead.
Yeah, they're dead.
This is after Jedi. So okay,
Yeah.
you're right. Okay, right. So this is after Jedi. So you've got Palpatine and his clone shenanigans going on, and you've got you do have that void there with Kylo Ren probably not being.
He's like 5 or 6 years old during the Mandalorian, apparently.
Well, they kind
Yeah,
of threw
so-
the rule 2 away in Rise of Skywalker. They had the whole army of Sith acolytes there. You remember at the end of it?
Yeah, but they weren't really like.
But they're Sith.
Yeah, but they're just dudes in robes.
The
But
Knights
they're Sith.
of Ren, or
No, all the
Just at
people
the
in the
end.
giant stadium, the Star Wars Thunderdome.
Yeah, the Sith
oh,
acolytes.
were those real people?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're all
Sith-
people in
Sith
robes.
acolytes.
Sith
See, like,
loyalists.
I've only
was the
seen it the
term.
one time, and I kind of thought that they were.
What are they?
like
What did you say,
Force
Rick?
ghosts.
In the actual description, they're considered Sith loyalists.
Yeah, Sith loyalists.
Okay.
But that's not to say though
Like
that they're not like with the rule of 2. It's just like the 2 that are in like main power, but there can be multiple ones. There's just a master and apprentice. That's it. Like there could be
Yeah.
10,000 of them. It's just there's not like the Jedi have like the Jedi Council. They work together and do their thing. The Sith rule of 2 is just 2 people,
Yeah.
but not like there's only 2 Sith. There's many Sith.
Mhm.
There could be more out there.
Really?
You had Dooku, you
Okay.
had Darth Maul, you had what's his name all there in one movie. Like, yeah, they're all
Yeah,
there.
I thought well, see, I thought
Palpatine.
Darth Maul's led to Dooku being the apprentice. I thought there were always only the two. I thought there was Palpatine and Darth Maul. Darth Maul dies, then he brings Dooku in. Dooku dies, then he brings Anakin in. But
No,
that's
Dooku
not.
had been working with them the whole time though.
Yeah.
That was like behind their back. Because like Maul was like betrayed by. You learned this in the Clone Wars, I think, but like Maul was like betrayed and was going to be killed because he was going to take on Anakin, but then Dooku was already there.
So Palpatine wasn't the only Sith Lord during all that time.
No,
There were
technically
others.
speaking, no. He was like
There were other.
there were other Sith out there.
Yeah.
It's just Palpatine was the master taking on first. Like he had Dooku and Maul essentially.
It's no
at the same
different than a
time.
Jedi Padawan and
Yeah,
a master.
just-
It's just
yeah.
it's just two dudes hanging out with each other.
pretty much like you got
Just
two
two
bros.
dudes.
Two bros.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
but there's
But
different
they
groups
don't-
of dudes.
Yeah, but they don't share the power with like a third.
No.
That's why if they do, the apprentice is supposed to kill the master and then get an apprentice themselves in Sith tradition, and that's it. So if
that changes my whole understanding of the entire saga then. Because I was always under the impression that the rule of two meant that there were literally two Sith in the entire galaxy. There was the Master and the Apprentice, and those were the only two Sith.
No.
And so the idea of balance of the Force was always didn't make sense to me because you've only got two Sith, but you've got these thousands of Jedi. And so
right, that's why it doesn't fucking work.
Yeah. Okay. Well, interesting.
It's just that because that's the thing when you start to look at because that's like that is kind of how they like loosely say it, and it doesn't really make any sense. But then you just sit there and look at the prequels though, and like Maul existed around the same time as Dooku, and then like Anakin was like being under tutelage of like hadn't fully gone yet, but like Maul's still there and got like betrayed by Sidious. Sidious goes to kill Maul because he's going to take Anakin on as his apprentice, and it's like, you know, this whole big thing. But like Dooku is there too already, like working with them, like he was Darth Tyrannus, like, you know. Like,
I don't think any Sith are gonna hear this call. I think it's gonna be Jedi.
yeah, it's probably gonna be Jedi, but who knows? Who knows? I mean, I don't know. I'd like some Sith stuff to happen. If we got Jedi stuff happening, we should have Sith stuff happening.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying. Because then also you can also have people like Ahsoka who are like just gray, you know, not a Jedi, but she's not a Sith. You could have other people out there who are just Force sensitive and heard the call, and maybe have a lightsaber. Who knows?
Yeah.
What are they doing with obviously Baby Yoda is the donor of M-Count. But who's he donating to? Where are they doing with his donations?
I just imagine they're trying to bring Palpy back.
Yeah, they just need powerful M counts from creatures to bring him back. Yeah,
like I don't know if it's necessarily.
You think it's tied to that?
Mm-hmm.
It's not for Moff Gideon himself.
Well, that's what I was wondering because just the way the Gideon is so. Something came off, especially at the end of the episode when he was almost taunting him with the dark blade. I almost felt like he's envious of this child. He's trying to get what this child has, and he's trying to you know show him that he thinks he's just as deserving because hey, look, I've got a dark blade, you don't. So now all I need is your powers. So I don't know.
I would initially go with like he wants to be able to somehow like absorb midichlorians into himself in some way. I could see that being a thing if they didn't go to that cloning facility, unless they're just using clones as the test subjects. I guess that'd be the only way I could see that being like feasible, or that would make any sense. Because like the cloning facility makes me think that they're trying to either bring back Palpatine or it's for Snoke. Because I don't know. I don't want it to be Snoke because I don't want to like have to deal with anything tying it. Yeah, but at the same time, if they're able to expand upon the sequel trilogy, kind of like they did with the prequel trilogy and like Clone Wars and Rebels and kind of thing, like maybe it'll make it better. Like, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like, maybe, like, I don't know, but at the same time, like, as far as the timeline goes, it does make sense that it would be Palpatine or Snoke related, unfortunately.
Guess we're going to find out.
Yeah, we'll just have to kind of see, because like otherwise, yeah, like that's the only other thing I could think of is they're trying to do something to where like Moff Gideon can become like he's trying to like, if Palpatine's dead, he's trying to fill the void and wants to be more than just a Moff, right? Maybe he wants to be the new Emperor himself and knows that he needs to be force sensitive and like
Yeah.
lust for power kind of thing. He's like, I got one thing, I got the dark blade, but I don't have force powers, so I'm just a dude with a sword.
Really.
So I need some midichlorians up in me. So I don't know, but that makes sense. I don't know. I don't know which I'd rather it be at this point though. So what would you rather it be? Would you rather it be something tied with Palpy or no?
Me?
Yeah, you and John. You weren't even-
I
the two
I don't
people-
even know what to speculate at this point. I mean, it's just gonna. It's surprised me enough already watching this show, different things, so it could be completely different than what we're thinking. I don't know. We're just gonna have to, like I said, kind of wait and tune in and see.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, you guys got anything else you want to add?
I think we touched upon everything I had thought about.
Yeah.
All right, I'm with you. We will wrap it up. Thank you, guys. Thanks for watching. Of course, like always, don't forget you can submit topics, questions to the show by emailing us at honestanduneducated@gmail.com. That's honestanduneducated@gmail.com.